Did you know more and more women are leaving churches? Even though women have traditionally been more spiritual than men, today more women are leaving churches and either opting for spirituality but not religion, or more commonly, they're becoming non-spiritual, non-religious beings. Stick around, find out more. Live, trance, and prosper. Hi, I'm Reverend Dr. Brian David Phillips, and welcome. Now, this week we're going to discuss this phenomenon of more and more women leaving churches. Any church, not just our church, any church. Now, traditionally, in most cultures, women tend to be more spiritual than men. Men tend to, oh, don't get me wrong, men have power in churches. They're the greedy guys that don't have the power. But in most churches, the active membership tends to be women. And this is partly because many cultures see women as the caregivers of the next generation. They're the guardians of spiritual life among the children, while men tend to have more secular purposes of going out and earning a living and being the breadwinner and all that sort of stuff. Well, studies have recently shown that women have started leaving the church, any church, and instead of opting for other spiritual approaches in their life, they're just opting for nothing. And so now, women and men are becoming closer and closer in the non-religious, non-spiritual bracket. Now, I'm not saying that they self-identify as atheists. No. Many still self-identify in the church that maybe they grew up with with their parents. It's just that they're no longer active. They're what we might call lost lambs, or something along those lines, that they have given up active practice in the community of the church. Others have indeed opted for atheism or agnosticism or some form of self-identification that no longer labels them as a religious person. They're no longer lapsed, they're just non-religious. Now, why is that? Well, part of it is the culture itself. A generation of folks was raised with the idea that they had free choice and they didn't want to impose their belief systems on their children, so they raised them with no particular beliefs. Well, when you raise your children with no particular beliefs, they end up with no particular beliefs. It's not so much that when they become adults, they will make the choice on their own, which is the party line. But when they become adults, they don't really understand the choices that are available or what they should do. And so they just opt to continue living a non-religious or non-spiritual life. That's one factor. Other factors are just pressures in life and society that kind of disengage us from religious or spiritual life. This is unfortunate in some ways. Another factor is that some groups have co-opted their belief centers, so some churches are now perceived to be of a particular political or moral ilk, and those who don't have that political view no longer feel welcome or comfortable. For instance, in the southern United States, the Christian churches tend to be perceived as bastions of conservative thought. Very right-wing conservative thought. And so those who are of a more progressive philosophy or a liberal bent, they no longer feel welcome in those churches, and so they opt out. They're not aware that there are other options available. And so because they're not aware, They don't opt for those. And once you opt out of a religious or faith-based life, it's very difficult to get back into the swing of things. And so, in the Western world at least, Christianity has seen a drop in the membership because more people have opted out. And that trend will continue. In some parts of the world, that church is growing. Pentecostalism is the evangelical Pentecostal Christianity is the fastest growing religion on the planet right now. There are other options available to folks, but that's the fastest growing. But many folks in developed nations have walked away from religious and spiritual life, and women are now opting out at a faster rate than previously, and so are now approaching the same numbers as men in that right. That may or may not be unfortunate, depending upon what religious belief systems they have available to them. Personally, I just hope they come here and join us and find a home. But that's neither here nor there. I hope this little talk has been helpful to you. You may have noticed we changed our schedule for postings, but we will still be contributing to church news and to pastoral questions and saving as well as trance time. So check those series out. More videos on the way. Once a month we have a webinar with my other sites, my other functions, as well as some interesting things that are happening. Be sure to click subscribe so you get a notice for when we have a new video, and comment and like us and let us know how you feel. Tell us what we're doing right so we can bring more content to you. I do the videos not so much just to video my face, but because I honestly want to touch you and make your life better as best I can. So help me help you by letting me know what you need. Okay? Click subscribe. But for now, this is Reverend Dr. Brian David Phillips saying, live trance and prosper. Bye-bye.